That was introduced to us at Gamescom last year was BigFest on the PS Vita, and we're catching up with Lee here, producer on the project, to find out a little bit what you guys are bringing to E3 this year.
Sure. So BigFest, I don't know if you know the background, is you create, build, and manage the ultimate music festival, and you start off initially this a game with like 20 people in a field, slow clapping, all the way up to big global multi-day mega festivals with international acts. And the really sort of strong concept to this is the idea that this is actual bands playing, real artists, and you put those bands on. The way you use them within your festival is how you actually promote that music. So it's about community actually discovering real music in real festivals. So it's a very, that aspect of the concept is really strong.
So I guess that means you're going to have to do a lot of research at rock festivals and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's been an interesting time. I mean, a bunch of us guys have already been to festivals, so we kind of bring some of that to the table.
There's always fresh acts.
Oh, of course. There's always other festivals we can research and find out, more information about that.
You got to find the small ones as well, so you can research that starting level, right?
Absolutely, please. Well, you tell me if there's any festivals around your neck of the woods. We'd be more than happy to.
There's one in every town. Then during the summer up in Scandinavia.
Oh, awesome. Well, please let's hook up later on. You can tell me about that.
But we tend to go to like Roskilde and that sort of thing.
Roskilde, yeah, I've heard that. Roskilde is the big one, right? Yeah. That's the big one. Yeah, I'd like to do that one day.
So tell us a little bit about what's been going on since Gamescom. You've obviously built a lot of the game out. Where is it at right now?
So currently we're like 2 months away from alpha. This is kind of, for us as a game, this idea that you're promoting real music is a new thing. Yeah. So there's kind of been a lot of prototyping just to try and sort of understand how do we make this fun, but also sticking to that core premise of the people are playing music in festivals and driving real charts. That wasn't, there's no sort of, existing games that do that, so that's required a little bit of thought, and we've had to sort of, plug away. But, I think we're getting there now. So, yeah, we're alpha 2 months away. We're looking at sort of Christmas for launch.
So, I think that's one of the things, like, because when you hear of the concept, I'm thinking like theme park tycoon, that sort of tycoon gameplay. Sure. But perhaps there's a little bit different slant on it with this concept?
Well, and this is it, yeah. I mean, ultimately, sort of you're building up the festival, but we didn't want to get into sort of the minutiae of sort of micromanaging those
hot dog stands.
Yeah, I mean, you do that. You can put all of that stuff down. We have that in there, but we don't want to sort of micromanage the minutiae of those stalls. So in that respect, it's a little bit more like Clash of Clans, where these objects generate money, and the more money, the more vibe in the festival, the bigger the crowd. And that's kind of the angle that we're going for. So if you think like Clash of Clans and that kind of thing, where it's like really quite immediate, you place things down, we just want to get very quickly people playing it and listening to good music.
All right. So I guess that's the thing that I've always heard, like the Germans, they want to be able to pick the prize for the hot dogs in the hot dog stands in their Sims. So maybe that's a cultural thing, but it sounds like you're making a little bit. It's more about what it's about the content rather than sort of the micromanagement of sort of setting up your festival.
Yeah, it's not a sim game. I mean, it has a sim elements, but it's not a sim game. Again, for us, what we thought was the real strong aspect is this idea of building a festival with real bands. And that's kind of where we've put our focus. So there's lots of tasks around, guys have gone missing, like guitars have gone missing, and you have to go and find them. Gate crashes, climbing the fence, you need to go and deal with them. If you have lots of emergencies and that type of thing you have to deal with. But in terms of like managing the individual stalls, we've kind of not gone down that road. We don't want it to be too heavy sim.
I think it's a good fit as well, because the PS Vita is, a music player as well. I mean, people use it as that, and sort of it's in your pocket, so it makes sense in that way as well.
Absolutely, and this idea that people like to play music, but music can tend to be a passive experience where you just sort of start listening to it. So the idea that you're playing a game and actually driving the game, listening to music, but you're So it's almost gamifying music. I don't want to sort of put that out there too much, but that's kind of what we saw. It was this idea that you are, you know, you're listening to the music, but it's a part of the game experience. And that's, yeah.
So, I sort of have in the back of my head that it's a free-to-play model that you're going for.
Yes, it's free-to-play.
What's the thinking there, and sort of what can people expect, and what will they get for their free experience, and sort of what things will be premium?
Sure, so the way that we're doing it is that we have a boost system in the same way Clash of Clans is, but we don't want this to be sort of a hardcore time fest where you're building things and they take hours. So we're very mindful of not sort of creating a cynical cash grab where you're just putting down stuff and waiting hours if you don't pay. But the idea is that you have boosts, things cost boosts, and you can buy bundles of boosts if you want to advance. You can grind for everything within the game, so we're not, again, we don't want this to turn into just people get, you know, requesting money constantly, because that's not what the premise was. The premise was that Sony wanted to explore free-to-play and actually go out there and do something special ourselves in the free-to-play space, and that's kind of where it's been born from.
And perhaps special customizations available, or will everything be?
No, absolutely. We have this thing called posters within the game. There's like they're almost like your levels, and if you think of a festival where you have the poster as you go into the gate and it has your headliners and your support acts, they're your actual levels within our game. So you complete a poster and then you go on to the next poster. So that's kind of our approach. You know, they're the individual levels, and within those we can apply our own fiction. So we could go a bit crazy if we wanted. You know, we'll look at how people are playing the game, and we might have like, I don't know, we might get really crazy and have like a German beer-themed poster, or we could do anything. I mean, the world's our oyster, it's free to play, but it's more about looking at how the people play it, and that's kind of it. And then we'll decide, hey, they really like rock, so we'll do some more rock stuff, and that's kind of it.
All right. So really the launch of it is just the beginning.
That's absolutely it. And I mean, in free to play, we want to look at the way people are playing it and then say, hey, let's address this. If people like rap, if people like, you know, let's do what the people want.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Cheers.